Okay, so welcome to my podcast. My name is Haris and this is Rajiv. I call you Rajiv, right?
Yeah.
So he is currently a physics tutor who has been tutoring for almost 2 decades.
Yes.
Right?
2
19
decades,
years,
yeah.
right? Since
Yeah.
2005.
2005.
Damn,
You have
that's-
read my website.
Yes, I did my research. So essentially, like, I want to talk to you more about why you started
Okay.
and then your journey and what lessons you have learned so far.
All right.
Yeah. So let's get started from the beginning, right?
Okay.
So I believe you graduated from NTU learning
Yeah, NTU.
engineering, right?
Engineering.
So what made you want to start with like tuition?
Okay, so I have always been tutoring. So I think like most Singaporeans, what we always do is we tutor our cousins and we read. Then I realized that I have a flair for it. Like when I was teaching my cousins and all, some of my cousins were watching this video, they will attest to it. So after some time, I realized that, hey, I have a flair. Why don't I try doing it like, part-time? So I did part-time and I was also doing other jobs. So I was also working for Keppel Saggers. I was doing engineering job, but I didn't quite like it. So then eventually I realized that, hey, maybe engineering might not be my cup of tea. So I did what you call insurance sales also when I was in UOB.
Right.
So that taught me how to sell. So I was doing that, and then eventually I went for MOE. I went to work in MOE for a while.
Yeah.
And then eventually I find that I didn't quite like the red tape that MOE has. So one thing I liked about tuitioning is that you get to teach, and that was my first love. And seeing that aha moment, like whenever you explain to a child who totally does not understand a certain topic, and then you see that twinkle in their eye, that was what I really like to see. So yeah.
Damn. So you went through quite a bit of like, I would say, exploration, right?
Oh, yeah.
Engineering, insurance selling,
True.
and then a government job, which is a teacher role, right?
Yeah.
So and then you eventually say, all right, I want to start tutoring.
Correct.
Right. So how did that first day of your own lessons look like? Like how did you get started?
Okay, so I guess I started with a tuition agency and all, so I grew from there. Then I started growing, then there were referrals, and then I realized that I cannot just do one-to-one because there were a lot more students that wanted to be taught. So eventually I just transitioned to group. So eventually from group I realized that, hey, I can actually reach out to more people. So that's why I set up my tuition center,
Ministry of Science.
Yeah.
And the thing is, right, when I saw this name, because this is not the first time I meet with Rajiv, we met online, right?
Yeah.
When he said, oh yeah, I'm working for Ministry of Science, I was like, wow, this guy, wow, how's that? In the end, it's actually his tuition name. So what made you want to call your tuition center Ministry of Science?
I actually played with a few names, and I think the one that really stuck with a lot of parents was Ministry of Science. So I stuck with it. I mean, I've had parents who ask for subsidies, but sadly, I don't think I can give them.
Yeah. Right, but you won't have any flag when you say you're a Ministry of Science?
No, I mean, you can't register as Ministry of Science, but in advertising you can. I mean, if there's Ministry of Art and Ministry of Rojak, I don't see why Ministry of Science is a problem.
But your actual legal business name, what is it?
It's MOSA, so it's actually MOS. Private Limited. Yeah.
Oh, MOS. Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
but in essence,
Yeah.
all right.
So
Okay,
that's
that's another. I mean, that's a good angle to put into your advertising and whatnot.
True.
So when you started your first lesson, how many students were there, or how many classes that?
Okay, so I started very what's the word? Risk averse. So I just started my group classes from home. So there were only about 2 to 3 students. But then when I started to see that there was a demand, then I said, okay, it's time for me to get a proper location. So I was actually just down the road. I was at 212 previously.
Okay.
So that's when I rented an open space in the tuition center. And then I realized that, okay, I think I'm getting more students. I need to get a bigger space.
Yeah.
So that's how I came here.
Right.
Yeah.
Then how did that growth go? Because you were teaching at a small class and then
Correct.
slowly an open space, that means a lot more students, and
Yeah.
then you realize actually there's a lot more students coming to you.
Yeah.
How did that how do you manage to get that growth?
I think it is identifying the right marketing partners. So yeah, so I've actually gone through a lot of different marketing companies,
Right.
and some of them, you know, they will tell me go and change the logo and change the website. I mean, it's cosmetic for all of this.
True lah, true.
They're just telling me to do something, but actually it's not producing results.
Yeah.
So what happened was I signed up with this company called Tuition Marketing Formula.
Yes.
So that's where they really changed the way I was getting students, and that helped. And my webinar format really works.
Right.
So usually I'll invite parents to join in every 2 weeks, where we will do a webinar, and they usually sign up from there.
Right.
Yeah. So that was the game changer for me.
Was that like how many years ago?
I think it started about from like when my daughter was born, so 2019.
2000.
Yeah.
So that's 5 years ago, roughly.
Yeah, around that, yeah.
So from 2009 to 2019, that's where you were like slowly growing your
So I was transitioning from one-to-one to group
classes,
tuition.
yeah.
So as always, like I think any other tutors out there who face this worry that they can't do group tuition, I think the main thing is that just try. You just have to, like what Denzel Washington says, fail forward. Just keep failing till and you're moving forward.
That's a good point. That's a good point. That's a good point. Right.
So a lot of us, we're very scared that, we don't have the certificate, don't have this, don't that.
Right.
Just keep trying. And that really helped. Yeah.
But the weird part that you say is you were risk adverse.
Correct.
You had to be the opposite, right?
To take a
so
bit
so
of
how do
risk.
you manage to switch your mind?
I think it's very, you just expose yourself to how other tuition center owners, they adopt the model. So like what models they have, you try to adopt it and see how you can morph it to what works for you.
Right.
So eventually, I mean, in like group tuition setting, it is a bit of a business also.
It is.
So you have to take a bit of risk because you cannot expect to sit down here and just wait for the students to come.
Right.
Nobody's gonna come.
Exactly.
Yeah. So there is a little bit of risk. Yeah.
True. And in terms of like marketing, how do you know about marketing? Because I assume most people, I don't know, I'm still new, right, to this tuition. Like most people will just start teaching.
Correct.
But then maybe they get students from their close contacts.
Yeah.
So how do you I need to do marketing? What was like that moment?
I think I did contact a lot of tuition center owners.
Oh.
And that's one thing that they highlighted to me, that you cannot just keep doing everything yourself. You have do the main role that you're good at.
Yep.
But the other parts, give it to others. So I think like Edwin from EduH, I was actually talking to him a lot.
Yeah.
Even from Gerald from Achiever's Dream. They mentioned to me that you need to get someone who can actually help you handle the marketing side. So so I actually went through like a lot of different marketing partners, but it was a tuition marketing formula that really made the difference.
Right.
So I'm with them since.
Right. What was like the thing that they actually help you do?
I think what they do is that basically they handle the Facebook advertising, Instagram advertising, and they create a system where all I need to do is just show up for the webinar, and that's how I close. Yeah.
So in a sense, you don't really need to think anything. It's just they just what's your webinar link, and then that's it.
Yeah. So just show up and teach, and that really made things a lot more simpler.
Right. Did they ask for like marketing access, like videos, photos from you?
Oh yeah. I mean, naturally they will ask me like for photos I take during class,
right,
or whatever materials I have, like the books I've written.
Right.
All of this, they have actually put it up in Facebook and Instagram. Yeah.
Right. So now you just need to focus on closing in a webinar, and then also teaching as well.
Correct.
Right. Then how do you learn about webinars?
Webinars. There was Russell Branson, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know. Thanks to you.
So Russell Branson, I think he has kind of revolutionized the way webinars are done. So I just copied his system, and then I just adapted to what works. Like basically what NLP does is that if a model works, copy it. So that's what I do.
Right. So you just, because I did ask about like how you did this webinar, how you close these parents, and then you just say, okay, Russell Branson, follow exactly, that kind of thing. So I did, and I managed to close, I think, 1 or 2 students from there in my previous education business. So I think it works, but like, what made you want to use webinar rather than maybe, for example, ask parents to come in and sit down and listen to your like presentation? Why webinar?
Webinar because I mean in Singapore I think we are very like location centric. Even though we're a very small country, but people who are living in Punggol will think Kowloon is far, which I really don't understand why. Should try staying in big countries. It's ridiculous.
True.
Yeah, so I use webinar because it's from your home, so there's no excuse not to attend. And also, I mean, let's be honest, when you do a webinar, you're at home, you're more comfortable.
Right.
So you're not as, there are less objections to coming to the center. Yeah, because all you need to do is just wake up, switch on your laptop, and then listen.
True.
But then, like, for the parents and all, they have to get ready, they have to drive, and then there's 1,001 problems that will happen. So I've just like got rid of all those objections.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's good because it's like it's easier for them. So it makes it easy for them to just go through your presentation rather than physically coming here and then low turn up rates kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So then after that, right? Once parents, students join. So in essence, like how does a student start your class? Like, meaning that, like, do they start in the early month of the whole year, or is it they come every month? New students come every month or something like that?
So the thing is that for our webinars is ongoing.
Yes.
So whenever there's a webinar, usually I'll get them to onboard. So I'll tell them that I'll get them to join a WhatsApp group chat. And then whenever they join within that week, they can start classes because it's Sec 3 and 4, so they are preparing for O levels.
Right.
Yeah, so it's really ad hoc. It's not like, only at the beginning of the year, then the rest of the year I don't take in. So I take in students as far as July even.
Oh, okay.
But from July onwards, I stop because after July, there's really not much that I can change.
Right.
Yeah.
To help it out.
Yeah.
Right.
Some parents will come in even on the month of October, which is the O level month. I mean, you are just taking money at that point, which is not fair to them. So I try not to take those type of parents.
Right. They are hoping for a miracle.
Yeah. It's like they think, okay, if I throw enough money, the grade will change. But I mean, there's only so much you can do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm not a miracle worker.
Yeah. I mean, if you are, then a lot of people will do that as well, right?
True.
Right. And then what is one thing, right, throughout this like almost 2 decades of doing tuition center that made you go to the next level? What's like one thing that was like, oh my God, I've become like better than where I am right now?
I think it's like the feedback I get from the students and the parents that they really appreciate the way I teach. So the thing is that I would like to reach out to more students. So I'm only limited by me. So that's why I'm trying to train new tutors to come in and then teach them the style like I teach.
Yeah.
And I can put them in different parts of Singapore. Like for me, there's only one of me.
Yes.
I can't
multiply. Maybe it's AI. I don't know.
Possibly,
right?
Deep fake. Maybe. Mr. Mishra. I get some random guy there. I put my face.
Yes. Instantly trust him, right? Okay.
So so that's the thing. Like example, there are a lot of parents out there in Jurong West, which I do agree. Okay, Jurong West. I mean, there's no doubt lah. It is far.
It's very far. Yes.
Yeah, it's very far.
I agree.
So that one I understand. So that's why for those type of parents, it would be best if I could have a center in Jurong West and someone else is heading. So I'm actually trying to train the next set of tutors so that they understand the style of teaching and they can reach out to more students. Yeah.
Right. In that topic, have you trained tutors and let them teach students?
I'm starting out, so I'm just beginning. So I'm sourcing out for tutors actually.
Nice.
So I'm in that stage now.
Okay, if you are
you're
a physics tutor, he's hiring. So what are like requirements that you're looking for tutors?
I mean, you should be passionate about teaching and you should enjoy teaching. That's the two things. It will make it a lot easier if you already have a basic understanding of physics syllabus.
True.
So I don't need MOE teachers, but I just need people who are interested in teaching.
So it can be like a student or like a uni student, right.
So actually, I am sourcing out for uni students. Like I have been reaching out. So usually, because the problem with certain like MOE teachers is that they have a certain way of doing things. So it's a bit difficult to,
I agree.
So that's why it's a bit difficult to get them to understand your method.
Right.
So I find uni students are more, in a way, malleable. They are more interested to listen.
Yes.
So, and they also have flexibility because, they have their school classes. So this is a good side income for them.
Exactly, yeah.
So, yeah.
Right. I'm very happy to hear that because like, I used to teach and for me, I don't see degrees or whatnot. Like for me, because not related to tuition, but it's like I became a software developer without a degree. So
Yeah.
from then on, I realized like it's
Yeah.
like you just need to give results and that's it, and then teach according to your way, right?
True.
So for me, it's like when I see other tuition centers where they show off their degrees and whatnot, it's like, you know, I've met enough, not tutors, but teachers with very long experience. When I hear them, I want to sleep. You know, that kind of thing.
No, the thing is that, you know, you could get a PhD, you could be exceptionally amazing at the certain field, but teaching and performing well is two different things. So teaching, you must have that human ability to transfer that knowledge, which AI, as of now, I don't think can do it yet. But that is something that it's a skill set, it's communication. So like I know some people who are really intelligent, very, very intelligent, but they just don't know how to communicate their intelligence. So those people don't apply. Please.
You met enough, is it?
Yeah, I've met enough.
Oh shit!
I'll end up arguing with them. So after some time, I just say, you know what, you just do what you have to do.
Okay. So you did have some experience, like hiring this.
Hiring people who, the problem is that they are very intelligent. They've got all the, you know, they've got like 90 RP and they are.
What's RP?
RP, I think for A levels, they have that certain grade.
Oh yes, full marks, right?
So it's basically they are very intelligent.
Yes.
But they don't have the ability to connect, because I mean, teaching is like talking to another person. So if you don't know how to read the body language, then it becomes a problem.
True.
Right, so you really get very sensitive to body language. Like you know if a person understands, doesn't understand. I do believe that to be a teacher, you don't have to have a degree, but you must be able to pick up on body language and also having the subject mastery. I mean, you can pick up body language, but you know zero, then
no point you can't teach. So you
wasting my time.
Yes, exactly. Like you need to be, of course, you need to know what you teach, right?
Correct.
Understand. And one thing that I like that you say is like social cues, essentially, right? Social skills.
True.
So I mean, we've met. I think we all have met people who are brilliant in their theory and whatever, but social cues not so much, right?
Right.
So I mean, I understand, and I appreciate that you also emphasize that and literally say if you're not. Okay.
No, because it becomes a problem. Like I mentioned, they're very intelligent people. But the problem is that they get very stuck in their intelligence, so they don't know how to kind of adjust to the situation. So when I throw them questions, they're like, "Oh, that's the way it is, Then I'm like, "Okay, you know where the door is." So I think you're smart enough for that.
So maybe teaching is not for them.
Right, definitely.
Right. So throughout also, what is also one regret that you have like remembered throughout your journey as a tutor?
Regret, I guess, will be. Not really though. I've never really had regrets. I guess some of the regrets is in terms of not being able to help certain students. So example, like there are a lot of discipline issues. So the problem is that when you're in a group class, it's very difficult for me to like manage the student.
Yes.
Because again, in a group class, I have to consider everybody else.
Yes.
So I guess that is maybe one regret of group classes, that I cannot help every single one. So usually in those type of cases, let's say your child has discipline issues, then maybe one-to-one is actually a better avenue for that.
Right.
But as of now, I don't really have any regrets in terms of tutoring.
That's good to hear.
I believe, like my dad was very funny. Like he was telling me that you should stick to the MOE and become a teacher, become a principal. But I just felt I couldn't really last in the system. So I just left, and then I realized that I was better off being by myself. So that's
okay. I mean, that's good. And I teach a lot to a point that, I teach to a point where they are kids. So for me, my experience is that I teach from kids to adults. Kids is more management skills. Adult is a more, I would say, explaining skill. How do you break down very complex stuff into very simple bite-sized kind of like teachings, right?
True.
So when you have a student who has discipline issues, how do you handle? Like, do you talk to their parents, or like you say, okay, I don't think this student work out for this class, maybe one-on-one would be better?
Normally I will talk to the student, because normally if they have behavioral issues, it's not the class itself, there's something from home or maybe their own social settings. So I try to explain to them, try to talk to them lah. So
Right.
I'll give them about. I usually have a 3-strike policy. So if I talk to you 3 times and you're still showing the same behaviors, then I have to tell the parent lah that it's not working out. I
Right,
think it's
right.
best that we consider the one-to-one option lah. So I'll usually recommend other tutors that the child can go to.
Oh, okay. That's nice. So what is your plans now for Ministry of Science, right?
The grand plan is actually to set up 3 tuition centers.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'm looking at that. To set up one more in Punggol for those who think Punggol to Kovan is too far.
Location, right? Location
Yeah.
is a huge factor.
Yeah, so the Punggol and another one will be in Woodlands. So it'll be the northern side. So that's
Right.
the 5-year goal that I'm
Right.
looking at.
Why these 2 locations?
Because it's in a way like usually what centers will do is they'll try to go north, south, east, west.
Right.
But usually the clientele in this area are quite common. So for me, it'll be a very good transition lah.
Right.
Yeah.
To somewhere that's common.
That
Common
means like
place.
the common clientele in terms of the people that sign up for our classes. So and it's right in the same area.
Yeah.
So it's very this is what some of my mentors have actually mentioned lah, that when you extend or expand, it's usually best to be around each area so that you know that area. That's their ideology lah. But I know that some people they prefer to do it like all over Singapore. So I get the point also.
Right.
Yeah.
When you say be around the area that you know, is it? Like,
So in a way, like let's say I'm in Kovan now.
Yeah.
So then now if I go to Punggol, it's not that big difference in population.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like it's like when you're in war, you slowly expand. So in a way, in a way.
Okay.
So yeah,
But Woodlands is
slightly further away.
Yes.
So that's why the next one is actually Punggol that I'm looking at.
okay.
Then from Punggol to where I call Woodlands.
Woodlands.
Yeah.
But Woodlands is like
Another.
extremely
Yeah.
far.
Yeah. So that's for the people who are like in the northern side.
Northern
Because
side, right.
certain areas like Sembawang and all, it's quite far to come all the way here.
True.
So definitely that will help those students who can't attend, who want to attend physically.
Physical class,
So
right.
that's why we are moving in that
Right.
direction.
And also, what's like your thoughts in terms of like physical versus online?
Okay. Actually, I don't feel there's a difference. I think the issue is the social kind of programming that we have had. It's because from young we have always been taught that when we learn in a classroom.
Yes.
But the thing is that the world is changing and online learning is going to be here. So
Yes.
it is a matter of just changing the mindset. I don't think online lessons are bad, but it really depends. If your child is the type who cannot really study, like they need someone to be physically there, then yes, have them physical classroom.
Right.
But if your child is the type who can actually put in the effort and they're hardworking, then online lessons no different because it's the same exact class.
Yeah.
Exactly the same class. So I know some parents are like very adamant on physical.
Right, yeah.
But the thing is that it's more of a mindset thing because in their generation, that is how teaching was.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of COVID and then
Yeah.
that kind of thing. So they have to adapt to the online, and then after that, now they are like kind of used to as well,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So they're not so foreign to the
Correct.
idea of online.
Correct. Like if you look at India, like in India itself, like the top tuition centers or top coaching centers, they might be very far away. They are like in a different state.
Right.
And the kids will want to go online because they know the value in the program. So I think for online, it's just that the child must be disciplined lah. If the child is not disciplined, then I think you have bigger issues to worry about than going to a tuition center.
True. Yeah, it's like for me because I've done online and physical, so it's like it's not in Singapore, it's in Malaysia, right?
Yeah.
And Malaysia is very big.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
my center or the education business is at like KL.
Yeah.
And then I have students who join from Johor.
Yeah,
So
Johor.
they join online, and then sometimes you have people not in Malaysia as well
Yeah.
who join online. So it's like
Yeah.
like you can literally expand the amount of people that you can reach with online lessons.
I think it's like the issue is just the mindset about online learning. Slowly it's transitioning, but I do understand where parents are coming. Like, okay, example, primary school, I feel online learning doesn't work because the thing is that the kids, they need someone to be physically there.
Yeah.
But by the time they are already in secondary school, they've already had that self-discipline.
Yes,
that, okay,
yes.
I need to sit down here
True,
and do the work.
Right.
So it's a mindset thing. Like, it's not that online lessons are worse.
Yes,
it's just
yes.
that kids, because they are not monitored, so they can kind of, the phone will be there.
True.
Yeah, so they have to have that discipline.
Right.
So
Oh,
that's
okay. I mean, that's a good point. So I think there was once where I taught primary school kids online
Correct.
coding.
Okay.
So I don't know if it's a hard subject or not, but essentially what has helped me was to ask them a lot more, because kids tend to like to be participative in lessons.
Yes.
So I tend to just ask, so what do you think coding is?
Yeah.
Then I'll shout the name, okay. Or students just shout out, like, oh, coding is blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
Then the teacher will be there as well to like monitor. Then after that, like the teacher messaged my supervisor, which messaged me saying that was one of the most engaging lessons she had so far.
Yeah.
So it's like, in essence, like I feel every age group has its own difficulties, but at the same time, you just need to know how to solve it.
Yeah.
So it's like,
true.
it's like kids. I've taught kids before. It's like you just like ask them questions, they love to answer back.
Yeah.
Once you go secondary, they keep quiet. I'm like, I miss the noise, that kind of thing. So do you feel that secondary school kids, which you are like focusing on, are they like very calm or right?
Because the students that I teach are usually like Sec 3, Sec 4. So they know that they have to get ready for the O level. So discipline issues not much of a problem.
Right.
But I do understand what you mean, like for younger kids. Like my daughter is 5 years old. So I can see that it's not easy to teach, and I don't know why, but somehow like the great teachers can't teach their own kids. So I cannot seem to teach her. She keeps telling me, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, people pay me to teach, so I'm pretty sure I know what I'm talking about. But the point being is that you have to really tailor the material to the child itself. So I think when you make it such that it's interesting to them and it's not learning, but it's just like doing an action, that changes their mindset of it.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's more towards like doing rather than listening. Is that something?
Yeah.
Right.
So in terms of doing, and like what you said, participating, just being involved, being counted, to give suggestions and all. Like what you say, because as we go through the years, all the teachers keep telling us, keep quiet. So it becomes an ingrained thing that I have to keep quiet.
Yeah.
But I do believe that for children, you should not keep telling them to keep quiet, because after some time they will really keep quiet.
Yes, correct.
Very difficult to really get them out of that shell.
Yes. Yeah. So for me, it's like it's been a while since I taught secondary school, but I've taught adults who are even more quiet. Right. So I think one thing that helped me a lot is to just use the chat for them to say out, and then in my previous coding classes, to increase participation, I use Kahoot. You know Kahoot?
Yeah.
With like GC kids, secondary school kids, and adults even. So it's like, if they don't participate, I have to in a way force my lessons for them to participate. And it's a bit more fun.
There's Kahoot. There's also a booklet.
There's a lot of versions of it. So for me, it's like, it makes learning a little bit more fun rather than just you listening to me, because I see feedback, and then I was like, they say it's boring, your energy is shit. And I'm like, okay, I need to buckle up already. Right. So in terms of also of like feedback, how often do you get feedback from students, and how do you even get feedback from students?
Normally I will just check in with them, do you have any issues, and also the nature of how they write their answers. So you can tell if they're really learning or not. So that's one. Number two is usually when the parents start messaging that, actually the results are not good and all that stuff. So normally what will happen is that all these points of contact, I'll try to use the information, then I'll sit down with the child and see, okay, what can be improved on.
Right.
So that's definitely, the feedback is generally from the kids and parents. So usually I'll talk to them, and with the homework, I'll be able to see also what are the areas they need to work on.
Right. And how often, or is it like once a week, or?
Yeah, it's like every time there's class, so whenever they give me the homework, I'll look through it and I'll just send them a breakdown. Okay, these are things you need to work on. These are things you need to improve on.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're giving them feedback.
Yeah.
So
they also their homework is my feedback. So I know, okay, they're learning or not.
Right. So in a way, it's like through the homework, you understand whether the student understand.
Correct.
is improving or that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So once the parents give you feedback, is it mostly good or mostly like what happened?
Most of the time, you get negative lah. So
Right.
that usually when everything is good, there will be no messages, nothing.
Right.
Usually when negative, so I don't take it wrongly. I do know that okay, these are things we need to work on. So I do mention to them that okay, instead of why don't we just talk to the child and see where we can go from there.
Right.
So then I will sit down with the child, try to see where the problem areas are.
Okay. All right. I think that's it for this podcast. Thank you so much, man. I think I've learned a lot. Thanks for sharing. Hopefully you learned something as well for those who are here. If you like this video, give a thumbs up. If you want more of these videos, subscribe down below. If you're a uni student who knows physics and is very interested in teaching, then please go to Ministry of Science, and then I'll probably drop a link for you to apply because he's expanding, and I think he's a very good tutor himself, right? All right, with that, see you. Bye. Okay. All right. How is it?
Oh, it's good. I was just worried that the window was open.
The what?
The window, because